took Sean Markham deep at Miller Park last week and now aim to do the same at Minute Maid. The Astros and Brewers face off next on Fox Sports Houston. From Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, Fox Sports Houston brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight it's the opener of a three-game weekend series. The Astros meeting the Milwaukee Brewers. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown and Jim DeShays on another great night for baseball at Minute Maid Park. These two teams meeting for the second time. Last weekend, Milwaukee won 2 of 3 from Houston at Miller Park, JD. Yeah, and the two pitchers that worked tonight hooked up last weekend in Milwaukee, neither one factoring in a decision. A game the Astros won 9-6. It's Sean Markham, the crafty right-hander for the Brewers. As a matter of fact, Crafty would explain both these guys. For Markham, the changeup, his premier pitch, showed a dandy there to Brett Wallace. Brett Myers is going to show a lot of breaking balls to these Brewer hitters. That was the case last weekend in Milwaukee. Got Braun there with a fastball, a big curveball there to finish off McGee, and that's a big part of his game. So the changeup of Markham and the breaking stuff of Myers on display tonight. And coming up, the talented array of hitters on both clubs will go to work against those two hurlers. Ryan Braun and Prince Fielder, the top RBI duo in the National League, go to work, and it's Carlos Lee awakening now. And Hunter Pence, who's had a pretty good run. Coming up next. There on the three-game. Insurance Group. For money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. And by Southwest Airlines, new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates. Another pretty evening outside Minute Maid Park in downtown Houston. There's the big screen, El Grande, and the game about to begin. The Brewers are in town. They are managed by Ron Renicky. Here's the lineup card he turned in. It's brought to you by Xfinity. Ricky Weeks, a powerful leadoff man, is at second base, followed by Carlos Gomez in center field. Ryan Braun is clipping along at 356, playing left field. Prince Fielder at first base, Casey McGee, Corey Hart, Unieski Betancourt, Jonathan Lucroy, Sean Markham. And Myers is ready to go right now to Ricky Weeks. Dealing strike one. Ron Culpa is the home plate umpire. Weeks at 309 with 6 homers, has 10 runs batted in, and he has scored 21 runs. That's 4th best in the National League. Good off-speed.
Yeah, same exact spot, same movement as the fastball. So good sinker at 88, and then the changeup at 82. Right in the same spot, and he's got Weeks way out in front.
Weeks was 8 for 17 with 2 homers on the Brewers homestand just completed. They were 3-3 on this homestand that they just finished. Fastball looked a little bit faster because of that off-speed pitch, but Weeks saw it for a ball, and that's what it was called. It's 1-2.
Weeks very quick bat. Nice combination of speed and power at the top of their order.
First round pick in 03, second player drafted, and he lunges at that one, and Myers really worked him over for an opening strikeout.
Myers off to a great start. We take a look at his numbers for the year. He's off to a good start as well. He only has the 1 win, but solid ERA 3.31, 6 innings or more in all 5 of his starts so far. And the only one that was not a quote-unquote quality start was last time in Milwaukee when he allowed 5 runs and 6 in the 3rd.
Carlos Gomez, a threat to bunt. Takes that pitch, and there's strike one. Gomez had a big series against the Astros last weekend with 7 hits. 2 homers, 10 runs batted in, a .250 average. He's on a 7-game hitting streak right now. He goes to 1-1 in the count. Gomez, the former Minnesota Twin, really can make some spectacular plays in center field. Reaches for that one. Fly ball up the right field line, twisting away from Hunter Pence, and foul.
Interesting. Myers, usually a guy who features a lot of curveballs and sliders, but already tonight showing a willingness to mix in that changeup more often. Here are the Astros defensively. It's Lee Bourne and Pence, and there's the newcomer, Clint Barmas, off the DL, making his first start at short. He's joined by Hall in the middle, Johnson and Wallace out the corners. Quintero typically pairs with Brett Myers.
Brad Mills looking at that different infield configuration tonight.
Another changeup. So, second consecutive start against the same club, so maybe his thinking is I'm going to show him a little different pattern, start to implement that changeup a little bit more. Or maybe it's just a matter of during warm-ups in the bullpen, he really liked the action he was getting on his changeup, so he said, well, I'm going to throw that one a little bit more.
Ground ball goes foul. Barma said this would be an opening day feel for him with jitters. His first game with the Astros other than spring training, and he said he kind of had that opening day feel when he began his minor league rehab assignment. Saturday, the no decision for Myers found him going 6 1/3, giving up 10 hits, 5 runs. He led in that game 6-5 when he came out, and there have been 3 blown saves in Myers' starts this year, so he has only 1 decision of the 5 games he has started.
They gave up a 2-run home run to Ryan Braun in the 7th inning with 1 out to make it 6-5. Had a 6-3 lead. So, as he typically does, kept the Astros in the game through the middle innings. Pretty much does that every time he goes out there.
Well, they could use that tonight. The bullpen really getting worked over last night in the 11-7 loss to St. Louis. Last 2 starts for the Astros have brought 5 innings from their starting pitcher.
Good look at the delivery there.
Foul back by Gomez. He's still in there at 2 balls, 2 strikes. As an Astro, Brett Myers is 9-0 in 16 starts at Minute Maid Park with a 2.10 ERA. 3 starts away from a club record, 19 straight starts at home without a loss. Barmes is tested early to his right. Throws on the line. He is a good shortstop. I'm very happy to be back at that position. He had been a shortstop, and then Troy Tulowitzki reclaimed that job after his injury, moving Barmes to second last year with the Rockies.
He's got quick feet and good hands. Those are two very important attributes for a middle infielder in the big leagues.
Ryan Braun with a sizzling .356 average, 9 homers, 21 runs batted in, carrying great numbers to this stage of the season. Comes up with 2 outs, nobody on. He takes it, and it's ball 1. Just a solid player. And ever since he broke in as a major leaguer, he has really set a very high standard. 27 years old.
He's hitting .394 against right-handed pitching this year.
2 balls and no strikes.
So, there's no advantage for a righty on Ryan Braun off Brett Myers. He's a .263 hitter with a home run and 4 punch-outs. That home run coming in that last ball game. The guy on deck, Prince Fielder, has very good numbers against Brett.
In that series last weekend against the Astros, Braun was 6 for 13, 2 homers, 6 runs batted in. Good pitch there, makes it 2-1. Yeah, if you're going to throw Ryan Braun a fastball on 2-0, make it a really good one. And he did. Braun hits it in the air. Michael Bourne backing in center. On the track, a long way. He leaps, and that is a Ryan Braun home run. Looked for a while as if Michael was under it, but the ball just kept carrying, and Braun hits his 10th of the season.
And typically a ball hit that high to that part of the ballpark is not going to fly out of here. You got to have a lot of juice in your bat to do that, and maybe the wind helping a little bit, but look at the extension. He gets the big high finish.
Michael did everything he could do. The ball just a little bit too tall for him. Now Prince Fielder looking at ball 1. So Braun now has 22 runs batted in. Fielder has 23. Their combined 45, a new club record for a duo for Milwaukee in the month of April. And there's another deep drive. Fielder makes it back-to-back shots. That's number 5 of the year for him and the RBI leader in the National League. Fox's 24th run batted in. 2-0 Brewers.
Wow. Well, we previewed them in the pregame, talking about the dynamic duel in the middle of the order, and right on cue they go back to back. Most RBIs by Brewer duos in April. There you go.
In 1996. Vaughn and Kevin Seitzer drove in 44 as teammates on the Brewers. Casey McGee looks at ball 1 upstairs. Myers had surrendered 5 homers in 32 2/3 innings coming into this game. Brewers now have hit 29 long balls this year. This is their 25th game. 1 ball, 1 strike to McGee. Now McGee gets the leftovers from Braun and Fielder. He's driven in 13 with 2 homers and a .281 batting average. That's 8 home runs now by the duo of Ryan Braun and Ricky Weeks. Since April 19th, and they are tied for the major league lead since the 19th of April in home runs by a duo. 1 and 2.
Well, all you need to do is take a look in the on-deck circle to get a sense of how deep this lineup is. Corey Hart hitting 6 for the Brewers. And he would be in the middle of a lot of National League lineups.
2-2 the count. And there is Hart. He's had only 6 at-bats since coming back from his injury. McGee had 5 hits and 11 at-bats last weekend, driving in 3 against the Astros. Now he works the count full. McGee drove in 104 last year. Had a sprained left thumb. He injured that on Monday. And he had been playing with the brace on the thumb, or had a brace on the thumb. It's in the air foul, and still a 3-ball 2-strike count to McGee. The hard-hitting Brewers now have scored 114 runs, one fewer than the Astros this season. 25 pitches for Brett Myers here in the first. That shows you how well the Astros offense has been clicking along.
It's so ironic. Last year at this time we kept talking about wasted starts. Boy, they wasted another good start. They didn't score. And this year it's the other way around. They're scoring a lot of runs, but they're not winning because the pitching hasn't been good. So they're wasting all these big nights by the offense. Last year in April, the Astros averaged 3 runs a game. This year they're averaging 5.
Fly ball heads out to center, and Michael Bourne comes in for it. Back-to-back jacks. Braun, number 10. Fielder, number 5. Make it 2-0 Brewers. He begins with Michael Bourne in center. Clint Barmas getting his first start as an Astro at shortstop. Hunter Pence in right field. Carlos Lee in left. Brett Wallace at first. Bill Hall at second. Chris Johnson plays third. Catcher is Humberto Quintero. The pitcher Brett Myers.
John Markham goes for the Brewers tonight. We saw him last weekend. And he's 2-1. 2.73 ERA through 5 starts with his new club. After a few years with the Toronto Blue Jays, he's moved over to the National League.
Michael Bourne takes his first pitch. It's ball 1. The Astros jumped on Markham early in Milwaukee. But then he features that 79-mile-per-hour floater and evens the count at 1 ball, 1 strike.
And both these pitchers like to get the ball and go to work. Don't waste a lot of time out there. Markham has an outstanding change of pace. The numbers for him, as Brownie mentioned, the Astros got to him early. Then he settled in and pitched a pretty competitive game with 8 punch-outs.
3-1. He gave up 3 runs on 4 hits in that first inning, including a 2-run homer by Carlos Lee. That was a 450-footer by Fielder on the home run distance. And a leadoff walk to Michael Bourne.
The Brewers defensively have been outstanding this year, at least in terms of errors committed. Only 7. That's the best mark in the league. The outfield features Braun, the Speedy Gomez in center. Corey Hart's got a big arm out there and right. McGee, Bencourt, Weeks, Fielder cover the infield, and Jonathan Lucroy is the catcher.
Clint Barmas, 32 years old, from Vincennes, Indiana. Went to Indiana State. 10th round pick of the Rockies in 2000. 254 career hitter, 61 homers, 285 driven in. He's been out with a broken bone in his left hand. Hit by a pitch in spring training on March 25th from Ivan Nova of the Yankees. He had his best year in 09 with the Rockies, belting 23 homers, driving in 76 runs. Bourne is 9 for 9. And the throw goes over, and pretty quick tag there from Fielder.
Bourne 9 for 9, and Jonathan LaCroix's thrown out just 1, and 9 have been successful.
Barmes is wearing that pad on his left hand where the hand was broken, similar to the one Jeff Bagwell wore. And he was hit by pitches a couple of times and had a broken left hand. So that'll provide some protection. It's very, very lightweight. And that's the idea. The player doesn't want to be conscious of anything. Barmes had 3 hits last night playing for Corpus Christi at Midland, and flew into Houston this morning after that game last night in Midland. Had 2 games at Oklahoma City, at Round Rock for Oklahoma City, and then a couple games at Midland. Strike to Barmes, and Clint said that this spring he got a little out of whack with his hitting a little bit. He has featured the leg kick in the past, and it got too big this spring. He was trying to do too much, trying to impress his new club. Now he's more relaxed, especially after the 4 games in the minor leagues. Not so much movement at the plate. No balls, 2 strikes. And he actually thinks that it might have been, you don't want to get your hand broken with a pitch. Certainly, he's been out for a little bit more than a month, but it's calmed him down a little bit in terms of his approach at the plate. So he feels more relaxed, more comfortable now than he did in spring training. They are really working on Michael. The Astros were 2 for 2 in steals at Milwaukee last weekend. In the air towards shallow right. Weeks is over on the backside of the infield. Fielder makes the catch, and it's out number 1.
Training for Clint Barmes, the Astros weren't necessarily looking for an impact bat. They're looking for a solid defender and a guy who could bring occasional power to the table. So it remains to be seen what you're going to get offensively out of Clint Barmes, but he's a good defender, and there's reason to believe he's got a chance to provide some home run power. The Astros lacking in that department woefully last year, in the middle infield in particular, when they get 7, 8 home runs total out of the middle infield last year. So even if Clint doesn't hit for a high average, if he can pop around to the ballpark every now and then and play above average defense at short, you got a pretty good player.
Hunter Pence, 294, 4 homers, 20 driven in. Throw to second base. Michael Bourne beats it. He's 10 for 10 in steals. Pitch was ball 1.
Markham did all he could to try to keep him close throughout the Barmes at bat, and then a quick delivery here, and despite the slide step, Bourne able to get in ahead of that throw. His speed forces everybody to hurry up. The pitcher hurries, the catcher hurries, and you get out of sync a little bit when you hurry that throw as a catcher and tend to throw the ball high.
He and Sam Fuld share the major league lead. That is 18 straight for Michael, dating back to last year. And apparently the pitch was, we have it as a ball. The scoreboard has it as a strike. That one outside from Markham. Hunter, with 20 runs batted in, is tied for 7th in the National League. 2 for 4 with an RBI last night. He has driven in runs in 6 consecutive home games. This ballpark, beautiful again tonight, has been wonderful for him. He's driven in 13 runs in 13 home games. Kind of like the beautiful Royal Bride. This ballpark looks beautiful with a night like this.
Oh, I forgot to watch the wedding.
You did?
Yeah.
How
did you watch it?
No. Too many commercials on.
It was awfully early, wasn't it?
It was too early for us, yeah.
Once I saw Rhoda get married some years ago, I figured I peaked.
That did it for you?
Yeah. I don't think you can do much better than that.
Rhoda.
Luke and Laura, they got married. That was a big deal.
That was. It's all downhill from there. Tap to the left side. McGee makes a throw across to get Pence. 2 outs.
Did they say, did they have an open bar at the reception?
Didn't
the Royal Wedding?
Pick up anything on that.
Or a cash bar?
I'm thinking no. 2 outs, and it's Carlos Lee coming up.
They do the dollar dance?
No, I don't think they did that either. No.
How about the garter thing?
I don't think that flies with royalty, no.
These people are no fun.
No, that's not the plan. 208 for Carlos, 2 homers, 15 runs batted in.
Gotta be kidding me. String a bunch of tin cans to the carriage.
Aren't you glad you didn't go?
These people don't know how to throw a wedding.
They're not your type of people. There's strike one to Carlos.
Go to the Knights of Columbus Hall with a big barrel of macaroni salad.
There you go.
Keg of Schmitz and go get them.
Carlos Lee is 12 hits away from 2,000 in his career. This one's in the air, and the catcher, Lucroy, is right there near home plate with the play. No runs, no hits. A man stranded. 2-0 Brewers after 1.
Tomorrow the Astros take on the Brewers at 6:05 during Play Green Week, and the first 10,000 fans receive a Hunter Pence Play Green bobblehead. There he is. He's all in uniform to Play Green. Grand Slam for Youth Baseball is the courtesy of, and you can visit Astros.com today for tickets, guys.
Thank you, Greg. There is Corey Hart taking strike one. He is 2 for 6, coming back from a stint on the disabled list for a strained left oblique. He appeared as a pinch hitter Tuesday and then started the game and got 2 hits on Wednesday.
Hart, a guy who they've had hit towards the top of the order before. Big man, but he runs well. Every now and then he'll drop down a bunt. Good power guy.
Nice tap foul, long, lanky frame, 6'6". Corey, 29 years old. Drove in 102 last year. He was an all-star. That's strike 3 for Brett Myers. His second strikeout opens the second inning.
Let's think about Myers, even having given up the back-to-back home runs, totally unfazed by it. Doesn't change his tempo, doesn't change his approach. He's not going to start to nibble or, get backed into a corner. He's going to continue to attack. He's going to counterpunch. He was a boxer growing up.
That's
He
right.
knows how to counterpunch.
Sure he does. Unieski, Betancourt gets the curve. It's in for strike 1. 267 for Betancourt. No homers. He's driven in 9. He had 5 hits in the 3 games against Houston last weekend. His grounder blocked by Johnson. He recovers, fires, and gets him. That was well played. The ball was on him in a flash, and he was able to get his body in front of it and block it so he could recover and get the batter.
Yeah, that's the thing about third base. It gets on you in such a hurry. You don't have to pick it cleanly. And he took one peek to find Betancourt, realized he had time, and gathered himself before letting that throw go.
Now 2 outs, and it's Jonathan Lucroy. 357, 1 homer, 5 runs batted in for Lucroy. He takes strike 1 with the pitcher Markov on deck.
Fox Tracks brought to you by Steel. Shows Brett clipping the outside corner with that fastball for strike one. Outside corner and a little bit more.
It's 0-2 as he comes right after Lucroy. Lucroy 4 for 7 with a homer against Myers.
In and out, up and down, take a little off, put a little on. It's like the hokey pokey.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Lucroy opened up with a 9-game hitting streak. How long has it been since you've done the hokey pokey?
Well, that's another wedding tradition in my part of the world.
He got hit by the pitch. So on this wedding theme.
Yeah. The hokey pokey usually comes right after the chicken dance. Fastball intended to push him off the plate. And just had a little too much run. Unfortunate because he had 2 quick outs, and if he'd been able to get Lucroy, would have had the pitcher starting the next inning, but deal with it and move on.
Brett Arnsberg watching him move up against Markham. Markham is 2 for 10. A 150 career hitter with 2 runs batted in. Markham with the Toronto Blue Jays traded for a good prospect, infielder Brett Laurie, over the winter to help bolster this Brewers rotation. Zach Greinke is supposed to be starting tonight on a minor league rehab start. And then he's on a pace to rejoin this Brewer rotation next Wednesday night in Atlanta. No balls, 2 strikes. Brewers are 12-12. They're a game and a half out of first place in third. Still 0-2. Brewers beginning this 10-game road trip. 3 here, 4 in Atlanta, 3 in St. Louis. They have played 6 games against Cincinnati so far. They're 1-5 in those games. And they're 7-7 against the clubs in their division.
They can't beat Cincinnati.
What is it about? Strikeout looking, number 3. Myers puts up a 0 in the second. Milwaukee leads 2-0.
Baseball and brunch tomorrow morning at 11:30. I'll be there. Texas takes on Oklahoma in the second game of their Big 12 battle. Both those teams ranked in the top 20. Oklahoma's 14. Texas is number 7. Right now in the game tonight, it's 2-0 Texas. They got their first run on a base hit after a sacrifice and an error. They got their second run on a 2-out bunt hit with a runner at third. It's small ball at its finest. We'll have it for you at 11:30 tomorrow morning.
Brett Wallace leads it off. He's on an 8-game hitting streak. It's 2-0 Milwaukee. Strike one to Wallace. A sizzling .373 average, 1 homer, 9 runs batted in. During his 8-game hitting streak, he's hit .545, 18 for 33. Infield shifted around for him.
So it's not just a hit here to keep it alive. I mean, 2-3 hits on a nightly basis seemingly from this guy.
You're right. He had 2 more last night after back-to-back 3-hit games. It's quite a series for him against the Cardinals. Quite a series for Lance Berkman against the Astros. 2 balls and a strike. So the Astros are 1-2 on this homestand, which wraps up on Sunday. They have dominated this Milwaukee club at Minute Maid Park. Line drive. That's been a repetitive sight for Brett Wallace. He's just been banging out line drives all over Minute Maid Park. The ball was dropped by Gomez. 9-game hitting streak, a new career high for Brett Wallace.
He and Bobby Meacham have to begin to be good buddies. He spent so much time down there. He's on base nonstop. Meach says, "Come and see me. I'll be there. Give me a few pitches to figure this guy out, and I hit a line drive somewhere, and then we'll talk."
It's not that easy, is it?
No. There's no other league we can send him up to. This is it.
Torre Brett Wallace gets hit number 1 for the Astros, and Bill Hall follows. Hall, the longtime Brewer, had a nice series in Milwaukee last weekend, going 4 for 10 with an RBI. 228, 1 homer, 8 runs batted in for Bill Hall. And there's the toss over to first base. Wallace has not attempted the stolen base this season. The Astros have won 6 of their last 7 at home from Milwaukee. That's a strike, and it's 0-1 to Bill Hall. Hall went 2 for 8 in the Cardinal series. He had the game winner in the 9th on Tuesday night in that 6-5 win. That was his 7th career walk-off hit. Pretty good sized opening on the right side of the infield here. It's 1-1. There's quite a difference in the error column between these two clubs so far this season. Milwaukee leads the league in fielding percentage at .992. The Brewers have committed only 7 errors. And the Astros are last in fielding, and they have committed the most errors, 27. Difference of 20 errors between the two.
And the Astros pitchers have struggled, so a combination of struggling pitching and giving teams extra outs adds up to bad news. That's why, despite the fact that the Astros have been swinging the bats well, they haven't been doing a whole lot of winning. Won just 1 series so far. They scored 18 runs in that Cardinals series and dropped 2 out of 3.
Yeah. Ron Renicke's club has ridden some good starting pitching. His starters are 9-5 with a 3.85 ERA. And that's without Greinke. Ball to center field. Gomez backing, turning, looking at the hill, now backpedaling, and he made the catch as he backed up on that warning track. Hall with a deep drive for out number 1. Hall hit his triple high off the center field wall in Milwaukee last weekend.
There's some balls in the outfield, if they're hit high enough, you feel like you can go ahead and tag at first base, assuming that the ball is going to be caught. And you can get into scoring position that way. But I don't think you ever got the sense, if you were Brett Wallace, that Gomez was comfortably under that one. So you couldn't afford to let that fall in over his head and not be able to score. So that's why he went 3/4 of the way to second base.
Chris Johnson gets a curve. He remembered getting some of those and some change-ups last weekend from Markham. There's ball 1 to CJ, 2-0-2. 2 homers, 11 runs batted in. He hit a home run last night. He went 4 for 12 in that St. Louis series. He hit a 2-run homer in the 2nd and also a double in the 9th last night. So he's seen his share of off-speed stuff from Markham. 1-1. Markham, a native of Kansas City, Missouri. Had a good year for the Blue Jays last year, going 13-8. His ERA was 3.64. He worked 195 innings and he walked only 43.
About a half hour before game time, the wind had died down. It was fairly calm, but it's picked back up. You can see Markham's sleeves fluttering in the breeze there, and the flags blowing fairly stiffly and accurately out to left field.
Johnson has 9 runs batted in in 10 home games. It's 2-2 to CJ now. He was hitless in Milwaukee last weekend, which may not rival being sleepless in Seattle, but he's 0 for 11.
He beat me to the punch.
So where's the honeymoon anyway? Do we know?
Niagara Falls, of course.
Okay. 3 balls, 2 strikes. With Quintero on deck.
Poconos. Beautiful Mount Airy Lodge, I think, would be nice.
Three-2 with 1 out. And Johnson fouls it back.
Markham, not a hard thrower. He's trying to manipulate the fastball, cut it a little bit. Going 85 miles an hour. I don't know if we saw him reach 90 in that start in Milwaukee last weekend.
Randy Wolf will go tomorrow night. He and Craig Counsell watching.
Wolfman pitched a dandy.
He really did. He won the 4-1 game on Sunday. He draws Wandy Rodriguez again. Runner going this time, swing and a miss. The throw high, Wallace in head first, and he steals it. His first stolen base attempt goes well, but the strikeout takes care of out number 2 from Markham.
Speed not a big part of Wally's game, but for a big guy, he's not a base clogger. He can move pretty well. Time going on 3-2, counting on contact, looking to stay out of the double play or ball 4. But when CJ comes up empty, it's incumbent on Wally to get to second base, and he was able to get there for Quintero.
Leaders of the game brought to you by United, proud to fly the Houston Astros. The Astros catchers are hitting .322. Leading the majors, Brett Myers on deck as Quintero brings a .298 average to the plate. Wallace is dirty. It's strike 1 to Q. He had a nice series in Milwaukee last weekend, going 5 for 8, driving in 3.
A lot of talk when we were in Milwaukee last weekend about Ron Renicky, the new manager, deploying more shifts than just about anybody in the league. I haven't seen it too much so far tonight. We're only in the second inning. Brewers playing Quintero the way most clubs do, pretty much straight up in the infield as an off-field hitter in the outfield.
He takes it. It's 1-1. The Astros catchers doing very well. Their number 8 hitters have been extremely productive. One and 2. A guy like Markham can really twist a hitter in knots. Hard to stay back on the slow offense.
And his fastball becomes his surprise pitch because of the breaking stuff and the real good changeup. The hitters will tell themselves stay back, and then when you least expect it, he'll throw that fastball, and even though it's only 85, 88 miles an hour, if you're sitting on that changeup, it's tough to get to. Get a lot of these, a lot of foul balls.
Yeah.
Kind of sneak attack, kind of late swings. Oh, there it is. I better go.
In Markham's last 4 starts, he's 2-0 with a 2.16 ERA. A nice addition to the Brewers staff. They paid pretty dearly with Brett Laurie, who was a top prospect, to get him, but the Brewers are going for it all this year. Ground ball, and McGee was well off the line. He plays it over to first. And it's no runs, 1 hit, 1 man stranded after 2-0 Brewers.
Answer rate, Brownie and JD. Who was the Milwaukee manager when they made the move from the American League to the National League?
You have a big bushy mustache.
That is right. I better throw in a bonus too. Who was the manager, the last manager of the Milwaukee Braves and first manager of the Atlanta Braves? That's part 2. It's not on the screen.
Let's see.
There's the bushy mustache.
Yeah, the bushy mustache was Phil Garner.
Milwaukee Braves to what now? To Atlanta.
Right.
What year was that?
66 maybe.
Phil Boudreau says Bobby Bragan.
Phil Boudreau is right, and we will allow him to count in your statistics, and you now at 89.8%.
Wow, way to go, Boots.
We're taking him on the road with us. Here's ball 1 to Ricky Weeks. He struck out in the first inning. Beautiful night in downtown Houston. The Astros will leave after the Sunday game and head for Cincinnati and Pittsburgh on the next road trip. Curveball, tap, foul.
So at the end of this road trip, we'll have seen everybody in the division. Haven't seen the Pirates yet. I was more impressed than I was expected to be with the St. Louis Cardinals.
Okay.
Mostly because of Lance.
Yes.
Didn't know he still had that in him.
Well, people had a right to ask that question after last year. Very rough year for him. 2 balls and strike. And I think one thing we've had a chance to see is that he certainly did not have his legs healthy last year, and how important legs are to hitting, because he does have healthy legs this year. Poke to the right side. Bill Hall got a glove on it, couldn't hold it. Weeks is aboard. Leadoff single for Weeks, hit number 3 for the Brewers. The home run Lance hit his last time up last night, batting right-handed, was the first home run he had hit right-handed since July 4th last year. Carlos Gomez grounded to shortstop in the first inning.
Yeah, as Brownie mentioned first time up, the bunt hit, a big part of his arsenal. Would not be surprised to see him try one here.
That's ball 1. Quintero draws back the arm. The Brewers had that long run without a playoff team after going to the World Series in '82. They were a playoff team in '08. Bouncer up the middle. Hall snags it, flips behind the back to Barmas, safe at first. Barmas got dumped. Ricky Weeks went in hard, but Hall was spectacular with that feed.
Gotta love the creativity. Boom. And quick feed by Barmas to square up and get a throw off and almost get Gomez, who can really fly. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's worth a couple of looks. Shades of Robbie Alomar and Omar Vizquel. Good, hard, clean slide by Weeks.
Sure was. Hope the Florida Marlins are watching. Ryan Braun is the batter. You may recall Bill Hall's slide into Hanley Ramirez here a few weeks ago. Braun ripped the homer to center in the first inning.
Has he still got that run of being on base every game so far this year?
He has, yes.
He's got a 12-game hitting streak against the Astros, longest active.
Takes that one for ball one. Been on base in all 25 games for Milwaukee. Runner going. Quintero with a throw, not in time. Stolen base for Gomez. He is 7 for 8. Pitch was ball 2.
He's got quite a burst. Very quick first step for Gomez and gets in ahead of that throw from Q, who has not been throwing base runners out at a high percentage this year.
16%.
Yeah.
With that one now, he's 3 of 20. Turn and a throw to second base, and Gomez gets back.
Yeah, that's a good idea there, because Gomez is a kind of an emotional guy. A lot of energy out there when he plays, and he's the type of guy you could see getting one bag and immediately setting sail to try to get another one.
The Steelers can get into that kind of a rhythm. Sometimes, like a hitter is hot, they feel that they have the tempo down, they have the pitcher down. Let's go ahead and go for the next one now. 2 balls and a strike. Michael Bourne did that earlier this year. He stole second and third on consecutive pitches. Jammed on that one. Braun fights it off and puts it out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Ricky Henderson used to like to work his way around the bases like that.
He was pretty good.
It was just Ricky being Ricky.
This is a new franchise record that Braun has set, the one you were talking about, of reaching base to begin a season 25 times. Robin Yount had the old mark of 23 in 1983. Another play at second. And Joey Votto coming into tonight, like Braun, had been on base in each of his team's games. They were the only 2 in the majors.
Again, all sneaking in behind Gomez.
Fielders on deck. Fastball up a little high. 3-2.
A lot of times what will happen is a middle infielder, second baseman in particular, on a play like that will come in behind the base runner, and he'll either flash an open hand or a glove to let the pitcher know, I'm coming all the way, let's take a shot at him. Otherwise he's just deking to try to tighten up the lead, and then he'll backpedal to his position. Important, you don't want the pitcher throwing the ball home while the guy's going to the bag.
Popped up. Hall, with that wind pushing him a little further back, takes care of the second out. That's a relief on a 3-2 to Braun. 2 outs and it's Fielder now. We have seen some sizzling hitters here. The wind has picked up in the early part of the season. Those Cardinal guys you talked about.
A bunch of guys hitting 400. Slugging averages are through the roof.
Votto and Braun and Fielder and Berkman. Holiday. Fielder takes, and it's ball 1 to him.
Myers pitches with the luxury here of having a base open, does not have to give in to Fielder at any point in this sequence.
Drops that one in for strike 1.
Prince slapping his leg in frustration. You get the sense that he was thinking curveball there, but didn't pull the trigger.
He was slapping his leg when he hit that triple last weekend, too. He hits that one foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, Fielder's different than a lot of left-handed sluggers. He does not have that whole up and in like a lot of lefty hitters that would just continuously swing through that pitch. He'll get to that inside fastball a high percentage of the time.
Attacks it again and fouls it back. Prince will turn 27 on May 9th and should be entering the prime of his career if you go by the normal production of many star players down through the years.
I think he's in it.
Last year he hit 32 homers.
I wonder if he was invited to the royal wedding.
That ball, Hunter Pence goes back, further back, and he misplayed it. It's off the wall. A run comes home to make it 3-0. And it looked as if that wind just kept taking it deeper and deeper. So Fielder winds up at second base.
Yeah, hard to know exactly. We talk about the wind, and typically it blows out to left field here and wouldn't necessarily help a ball like that, but it's very deceiving sometimes what's going on. But the other thing is this ball looks to jam him a little bit. It looks like he got tied up and didn't quite get it out in the sweet spot, but he's so darn strong. Able to push it on out there. And you see Hunter breaking directly across before changing his route, but too late.
Now McGee taps one foul. But you pointed out why an outfielder could misplay. If he's watching that swing, which he's doing, he might think, hey, this is a jam shot. It's not going to be hit that far.
Yeah, you get used to reading the ball off the bat. You see it, you can tell when a guy really jumps on one. You can see when a guy catches one off the end sometimes, or when he gets tied up a little bit.
Little tap goes to Barmas. He has to hurry. Comes a long way. Smooth play. And the Brewers add to their lead with a run on 2 hits and a man left. It's 3-0 Milwaukee.
The Reds lose to the Cubs 7-2 at Chicago's West Side Park. Why? Cincinnati forgot to pack their uniforms and had to borrow unis from their opponents' crosstown rivals. Learn that on nationalpastime.com.
The Cheeseheads are here.
That hat would have fit right in at the wedding.
Fly ball from Brett Myers. Caught by Gomez over in right center field. 1 pitch, 1 out for Markham. Phil Boudreau has a trivia question for you, Greg Lucas. Who was the first American League 30-30 player? 30 homers, 30 steals in the same season.
I'm thinking.
autographed cheesehead. Very, very impressive. And he has the.
What's the other guy featuring?
Not sure what that is.
A broadhead or? No, it's not a broad. A broad hat.
A broad hat. Okay. Michael Bourne showing bunt. Takes ball one. He walked, stole a base in the first inning. Wandy Rodriguez, Randy Wolf tomorrow night at 6:05. Bud Norris, Chris Narveson Sunday. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I've never seen that one before.
No. I believe he's cornered the market on that one. Ground ball to fielder. And that's out number 2.
Astros were able to get to Markham early last weekend, and that's the key with a guy like him. Typically, as he goes along, he gets a little sharper with his command. Leadoff man in the first on the walk, leadoff single in the second, but they couldn't really do anything with those leadoff base runners.
Clint Barmas popped up to first. There is strike 1. After the game last night, the Astros designated infielder Joe Inglet for assignment. So they have 10 days to decide what to do with him. Barmas chasing, falls behind, no balls, 2 strikes. Barmas has faced Markham once, and he got a hit and drove in 2 runs prior to tonight. So that made room for Clint on the 25-man roster, and it keeps Brian Bogusevic on the big league club as the left-handed pinch hitter. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and Brad Mills hated to give Joe Inglet that news. The Astros traded for Joe in spring training. They tried to and did give him a lot of at-bats at the end of the spring. That's a soft pop caught by Weeks. And after 3, it is 3-0 Brewers.
To the ballpark event. It's during Play Green Week this Sunday before 105 game against the Brewers. Registration's only $10 and includes a game ticket and a chance to win a new bike from Bike Barn. For all the info, visit astros.com/bike tonight. You know, you got a bike. I mean, that's the whole thing. By the way, I'll throw in a guess.
All right, yeah, 30-30.
Request. I will say, if he didn't, he was. I'm going to say Joe DiMaggio. If he never did it, it was his fault because he was fully capable of doing it.
Didn't do it.
No. Well, see, it's his fault. Revoke his Hall of Fame membership.
Tommy Harper, 1970, 31 homers, 38 steals.
With this team, right?
Right. Swing and a miss by Hart. The count goes to 2-2. But do you suppose that during Joe DiMaggio's time, nobody ever talked about the 30-30 club?
No, and then they didn't steal as many bases, but he had enough speed. He could have done it easily.
Well, then it's his fault.
It is his fault.
Struck him out.
It's his fault. I got that one
I
wrong.
believe you guys are dogging the Yankee Clipper, man. Mr. Coffee.
That's number 4.
Brutal.
Number 4 for Brett Myers. Here it is.
Yeah. All about location.
Corey Hart has struck out both times. Yuniesky Betancourt grounded out. This one heads for left center field. Michael Bourne still turning back. Leaping at the wall, and Betancourt whacks one way up by the ConocoPhillips pump. Home run number 1 as a Brewer. Very impressive shot in this ballpark.
He hit a couple deep drives to right center field last weekend in Milwaukee, so he's got legitimate pop. That one went a good long way. I think the wind may have helped that a little bit, but don't be fooled by Betancourt. He's got some juice in that bat. Takes a big aggressive swing, kind of a wild swinger, but if he runs into one, he's strong enough to hit it a long way.
He sure showed that, and it's 4-0 Brewers. Jonathan Lucroy looks at that one. It's ball 1. He was hit by a pitch his first time up in the second inning. Well, the Brewers have their home run hitting shoes on tonight.
It's the 8th home run Brett has allowed this year. 3 solo tonight, and that's typically what happens. He doesn't walk many people and takes that aggressive approach that usually serves him well. That's what allows him to pitch deep into the games. He's able to keep the pitch count down.
Betancourt hit 16 homers last year for Kansas City. That's a big ballpark there. 69 pitches for Myers.
And the wind's gotten even more robust.
Top foul. It's a 2-ball 2-strike count to Jonathan Lucroy. Phillies lead the Mets 4-0. They're in the bottom of the 6th at Philadelphia. Ryan Howard hit his 5th home run. Philadelphia bullpen situation has gotten more interesting with the disabling injury to Jose Contreras, who was the closer. Brad Lidge just about now is starting to throw again, so he's weeks away from returning. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Their starters are going to give them a lot of comfortable leads to protect late in games, and Ryan Madsen's certainly capable of doing the job stuff-wise. He's got outstanding arsenal.
Swing and a miss by Lucroy. He chased ball 4. It's strikeout number 5. Todd Worley came up from the minors to start that game tonight, and he is shutting out the Mets after 6 innings.
Yeah, Joe Blanton went on the DL.
Yes. Five strikeouts for Myers. Now it's Markham. Markham struck out looking in the second. There's strike 1 for Brett. Myers with 4 straight quality starts right out of the chute. Tap foul. It's an 0-2 count to Markham. I mentioned Mark Portugal had 19 consecutive home starts without a loss in 90 and 91 to set the Astros club record. Myers was 16 in a row without a loss as an Astro at Minute Maid Park. Overall, he's 10-1 here with a 2.36 ERA in his career. 1-2. The 2.36 ERA is the lowest career earned run average at Minute Maid Park in stadium history, slightly better than Roger Clemens' 2.55. Swing and a miss, and Markham whiffs. At 6 strikeouts, Myers strikes out the side, but Betancourt goes deep, and it's 4-0 Milwaukee.
makeover. ChevyBaseball.com. Check it out.
Changed it up on you a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I started reading it. Not even thinking it. The words from last year's read just kind of came into my head.
There's a quality hat. We go to the bottom of the fourth inning.
That's a jaunty hat.
It is. There's ball one to Hunter Pence, who grounded out to third in the first. Markham delivers, and it's a 2-ball, no strike count. Washington leads the Giants 3-0. They're in the bottom of the eighth already in Washington. Lance Nix hit his third home run. It came off Tim Lincecum. Now 3 balls, no strikes to Hunter Pence. It's Jason Marquis who's handcuffing the Giants on 5 hits with no walks through 8 innings. Foul ball. Hunter ripping away on 3-0, and he got a good cut at it.
Little balls carrying here. Astros don't have a lot of home run threats in their lineup, so good idea to turn Hunter loose.
Carlos Lee and Brett Wallace to follow here in the Astros' 4th inning. They trail by 4. Markham trailed 3-0, but got a no decision last weekend against the Astros. Now a leadoff walk. Second walk. They've both been to men leading off innings for Markham. Michael Bourne was running after he got his walk in the first. He stole second base. The Astros with Michael Steele are now 19 for 22 in stolen bases.
See, Hunter has walked how many times?
10.
10. It's not a big number, but he's seeing a lot of pitches. He's seeing a lot more pitches this year than last.
It's a good point. Carlos Lee fouled out. And Mike Barnett was talking about that a few days ago. Just doing what Hunter is doing this year can have an impact. Several of the other hitters, too, not impressive in the walk column, but they're really forcing that pitcher to work pretty hard on them. Getting quality pitches to swing at. They're hitting .275 as a team, and the Astros are 4th in the league in runs scored.
Yeah, tied with the Rockies, ahead of the Phillies.
Really?
When you look at the division leaders, yeah, it's kind of surprising, the Astros.
It is. Fly ball goes out to center and shallow. Gomez tracks it in. There's one out. Gomez, a very good, speedy, rangy center fielder. Throws well. Niger Morgan may also enter that mix in center field when he comes back from his injury. He's starting his rehab tonight. I mentioned Greinke due to be back Wednesday, but Takashi Saito, who was going to come back to this club this weekend, now has had a setback with his injury, so apparently that's not going to happen this weekend. Brett Wallace smacked a single up the middle.
Third base line is his. Betancourt out behind second base. McGee. Catches interference.
Oh, yeah. So that is not a time at bat for Brett Wallace. And he reaches on that, which is ruled to be an error in terms of determining earned runs in the inning.
Well, he's probably thinking about hitting the ball down that third base line, so he's going to wait and let that ball get awfully deep. And LaCroix reaching out for the pitch did indeed interfere.
Runners at first and second now, and it's Bill Hall. And Brad Mills was asked about how he handled the situation with Angel Sanchez. Clint Barmas coming back. And did he talk to the players? He said yes. He talked with all the players involved last night, including Bill Hall. That is an error on Lucroy, the catcher's interference. So, Bill Hall had that conversation with the manager, and Bill can play all the other infield positions as well as second. And then somebody asked Brad Mills, well, what about Sanchez? Can he play? Will he play second base? He said yes, he will play some second base. Third base, probably not. He said we have Matt Downs for that. He said maybe, you know, if we've made one double switch already in a game and it's getting later, extra innings, possibly you might see Sanchez at third base, but we're not thinking primarily of him as a third base.
Not going to get any starts over there.
No. That's the plan anyway. 1-1. Well, you know, the idea is that Sanchez, who by the way handled everything just perfectly in his comments to the media, very pleased and excited about Clint Barmas coming back. Fly ball center field. Gomez with Hunter going back to tag has it. Not a good idea with his arm.
Knocked the shortstop down. That's a pretty good arm.
Yeah, Betancourt was falling. It looked like the throw knocked him down, but that was a laser.
Yeah, see, so it's not a good idea to tag up and try to advance on that ball, but it's certainly a good idea to draw a throw, because we talked about Gomez and his approach to the game. A lot of energy, and he's the kind of guy you might bait into a bad throw, you know, by bluffing. And
true.
You know, that's kind of his reputation, that he's a really gifted guy, but sometimes makes some mistakes in the field and on the bases.
Yeah, sometimes a guy with an arm wants to show it off. Chris Johnson struck out in the second inning.
This could be a difference maker at bat here.
Really could. Strike one to CJ, who read to some school kids today. It's part of the Astros Play Green initiative this week. And Sanchez said for his part, I'll play wherever they want me to play. And before the game, Sanchez was doing some work at second base to get ready for that.
And that just, you know, it becomes a challenge for the manager to keep everybody involved. You want as many guys feeling good about their situation as possible. Guys come to the ballpark with a positive outlook, ready to contribute, so you got to keep everybody in the mix.
Fly ball behind second. Gomez is coming in for it to end the Astros fourth with no runs, no hits, one error, two left. After four, it is 4-0 Brewers. Brought to you by Whataburger, just like you like it. By AT&T. By Gullo, treating you like family. And by Priests in 3D, May 13th. Gorgeous night outside. We have nightfall in downtown Houston and a 4-0 lead for the Brewers. Brewers bat now in the fifth inning with Ricky Weeks leading it off. He's 1 for 2. Taking strike one from Brett Myers. Myers is 5-3 in his career against Milwaukee with a 3.49 ERA. never lost to the Brewers in his home ballpark with a 4-0 record and a 1.49 earned run average in those games. 1 ball, 1 strike. Down to the shortstop. Barmas backhands. Throws across to Wallace. 1 out. We go to Bart.
Well, guys, it's time for the progressive fan of the game. We've been showing you some of the interesting headgear, headwear, if you will, out here in the Crawford boxes. Got some Brewers fans here. Strangely large number of Brewers fans here. But we saw these interesting hats. The cheese heads we're familiar with. That's kind of a Packers thing. Whoa, what's this you got here?
Oh, it's a bratwurst. Double bratwurst.
Double bratwurst. Not to be confused with the single bratwurst hat. This is the double brat hat. I got to tell you, that is quite possibly the ugliest thing I've ever seen anybody put on their head.
I appreciate that.
I knew that you would, being from Milwaukee. All right, so the fan of the game is not going to be the double brat hat. The fan of the game is the guy that has to stare at the double brat hat all night long.
Yes.
Alfredo's a big Astros fan. Now he's our fan of the game. Guys, back to you.
Good work, Alfredo. Craning his neck to look around that double barrel hat. 2 balls and no strikes. Carlos Gomez is 0 for 2. Now it's a 2-ball, 1 strike count. Detroit leads 5-3 at Cleveland. They're in the bottom of the 7th inning. Tigers took the bus from Detroit to Cleveland on that trip. Miguel Cabrera hit his 6th homer. Apparently that was planned all along, even though the Red Wings used the same plane as the Tigers, and Red Wings were using that plane for the NHL playoffs.
Well, Detroit to Cleveland, that can't be too long of a drive, can it?
No. They said they were actually looking forward to it. There's something different for them. In tight.
But there wasn't a train.
That would have been fun. Back in the old days of baseball, they used to travel by train and routinely would have Sunday doubleheaders, and Monday would be an off day. So there'd be time to use that entire day if necessary, traveling by train to the next destination. Players would play a lot of cards on those train trips.
Well, it's back when St. Louis was the most western destination in the league, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or westernmost destination, I guess would be the proper phrasing. Look at Myers looking into Arnie. He's looking for a little scouting report. It's pretty good. Motioning with his hand. What do you?
Interesting.
Want to throw him a slider here? Yeah, hook him.
Oh, came in a little high apparently for Ron Culpa, and it's ball 4 to Gomez. Gomez stole second base in the 3rd. With 1 out in the inning here, it's Ryan Braun coming up.
You don't think the pitching coach is valuable on this team? I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Braun ripped a homer to center in the 1st. He popped to second in the 3rd. He's been ahead in the count both times. It's Florida 7, Cincinnati 4. They're in the last of the 7th at Cincinnati. John Buck hit his 2nd home run for the Marlins. Jay Bruce hit number 4. Jeremy Hermida number 1 for the Reds. Little tap goes foul. Quintero wanted to tag him and then make that throw to second, but the ball was ruled foul by Ron Culpa. It's St. Louis 2, Atlanta 2. They've played 6 in Atlanta. Jason Hayward hit his 7th home run. Chris Carpenter is in the game for the Cardinals. Cardinals and Astros combined for 40 runs and 78 hits in their 3-game series. Pull on 1 hop. CJ to second. Bill Hall to first. Yeah, the throw pulled him off the bag. Hall stood in and took a shot from Gomez at second base. And that throw just drifted a little bit, and the umpire there, Darrell Cousins, ruled it pulled Wallace off the bag.
It's a great example of team speed and how it manifests itself otherwise than stolen bases. Gomez able to put pressure on Hall, has him back on his heels making that throw. Braun runs well too, so even if that throw is accurate, it's going to be a bang-bang play at first base.
Now Fielder with ball one. So both Astros middle infielders have been dumped in this game. Fielder with a homer and an RBI double.
Came into this game with good numbers off Myers, and they have gotten a little bit better.
Now he's ahead 2-0. Tim Hudson started for the Braves against the Cardinals. He's gone after 6 innings of good work. It's 3-0. We're just trying to decide with all these tremendous hitters in this NL Central. Berkman currently at 412. Holiday at 414 tonight. Whether it's just great hitting or whether the pitching has slipped in this division. That's ball 4 to Fielder.
The guys we're talking about, I'm sure they're hitting the pitchers in the other division too. I mean, you're talking about guys like Holiday and Berkman and Votto and Fielder and Braun. They hit everybody.
True. Myers, after his second walk of the inning, second of the game, faces McGee now. McGee's 0 for 2. McGee hit a fly ball to center and grounded to shortstop. Blue Jays lead at Yankee Stadium 5-2 in the top of the 6th inning. Jose Bautista has gone off again. He's hit number 9.
Now that is maybe the most curious case in all of baseball.
Yeah. It is, considering his history until last year.
Yeah, it's just really amazing how he has blossomed. I can't think of another example of a guy like that who kind of a middling player, couldn't settle in Pittsburgh and weren't sure where they're going to play him, and might be the best player in the American League.
Chris Johnson charges, fires to a stretching Wallace. Out number 3. No runs, no hits. 2 men stranded. 4-0 Milwaukee in the 5th. Of the game, showing you a play up the middle. Bill Hall behind the back. Clint Barmas. That is slick.
I wish I could whistle Sweet Georgia Brown for you.
Oh, never mind. There is Quintero taking ball 1. Yeah, that we don't want to waste that play. That was too good to be spoiled by bad whistling. Quintero grounded out to third. Roll to third base for Casey McGee. 1 out. And Barmas talked about the fact that he was glad that at least he got in a few weeks in the spring with Bill Hall for exactly that reason. And they were paired together purposefully in spring training games and then held out of other games to work together on some plays when they weren't in games. Now Myers hit the fly ball to center field in the third.
Yeah, it's important because those middle infielders, they'll communicate with each other and tell where they like to feed, and just the more you work together and get the timing of those plays in the middle of the diamond, pays off.
No balls, 2 strikes. Sean Markham sailing along. He's thrown only 60 pitches.
Yeah, there was a note on him right here. Sean Markham this year in his first 2 innings has an ERA of 7.20. From inning 3 on, his ERA is 0.46. So far this year, the story has been get him early or don't get him at all.
Yeah. Well, the Astros got him early, and he stayed in the game for 6 innings. 2 strikeouts from Markham. Michael Bourne next. Markham is cooling off a hot club. The Astros hit .336 in that St. Louis series. They're hitting .299 at home. That's second best in the majors. Strike to Bourne. It's only the second time the Astros have seen Sean Markham. A lot of times when a player comes from another league and joins a team, he can reel off a lot of successful outings, at least for a while, because of the lack of familiarity, just because of good pitching.
Yeah, the newbie factor should work to his advantage. Hitters haven't seen much of him, especially a guy who's a little bit unconventional as Markham is, and all those changeups. Some guys you put in a box, you go over scouting meetings and you can say, well, he's like so-and-so. He approaches the game, he's got similar stuff and pitches with similar patterns. I don't know that there's a right-hander that pitches like Markham.
Up the middle, off the mound, and there's a play by Betancourt, but no throw on Michael Bourne, who gets an infield hit. Only the second hit for the Astros tonight. A 2-out base runner will bring up Clint Barmas.
Most likely a 2-out base stealer. Normally down 4 runs, you don't think about taking chances on the bases, but the Astros don't hit for a lot of power. Bourne's the best in the business. LaCroix's had a hard time throwing out base runners, so even though you're down 4 runs, would not be surprised to see Michael try to steal this bag.
The Brewers are certainly wise to it. He stole in the first inning. 10 for 10 this year, 18 straight going back to last season. Hunter Pence is on deck. Not a big lead for Michael. Barmas looks at it, and on appeal, he checked his swing. Darryl Cousins with the call. 1-0 to Clint. Clint was traded last November to the Astros for pitcher Felipe Paulino, who's been in the Rockies bullpen this year.
Good kid, Felipe. I wish him well.
Yeah.
I mean, if he doesn't figure it out, years from now, he'll look back and go, man, I mean, he's such an arm. I mean, to have that kind of talent and not be able to put it all together, how frustrating.
Yeah, he was getting hurt on 98-mile-per-hour fastballs last year. In the dirt, Lucroy keeps it close. It's 2-1.
Well, the other night we were talking about Ozzie Guillen tweeting during that game in New York after he had been ejected. He's been fined $20,000 and suspended for a couple of days. The original fine was $50,000. He was able to get it reduced to $20,000.
That's an expensive tweet.
Yeah, that'll be a stat someday too. Dollars per tweet, fines for Major League personnel. Hey, what's your tweet rate?
Bet he won't do that again. 2 balls and a strike. And another quick throw to first.
Yeah. According to Major League Baseball rules, all social media messages must stop 30 minutes prior to the first pitch, and they can resume after the game at the individual club's discretion. Getting ejected is not an exemption from the rules.
Okay.
I didn't even know these rules were in place.
Didn't know that one, no. Bourne takes off. Lucroy's throw sails high, and he gets in underneath. With steal number 11. 19 straight going back to last year.
And when you look at his numbers and you look at LaCroix's numbers, you feel good about his chances of making it. Now he's got a man in scoring position where a little flare, any kind of single that leaves the infield will get him home. You know, when I was playing, social media meant you had a beer with Neil Holfeld. It's a whole new dictionary here.
2-2 the count. Up the middle. Betancourt throws on the run and gets him. No runs a hit. A runner stranded. After 5, it's 4-0 Brewers.
Plan presented by Lewis Jewelers allows Mom to choose 6 games she wants to attend this year, and each account receives a $50 gift card from Lewis Jewelers. Information? Easy. Astros.com. That's where to check it out.
Greg, were you doing some research on Joe DiMaggio?
Yes, I was. He had 30 in his career stolen bases.
30 for his career?
7 times he had a chance to go 30-30, but he never stole more than 6. The man should be revoked from the Hall of Fame. He was not using all of his tools.
1 ball, 1 strike to Corey Hart. He has whiffed twice in this game. And a good changeup there puts him behind in the count. 1-2 for Brett Myers. Myers is closing in on 100 pitches at 96 right now.
Yogi and others have always said DiMaggio is so good he never had to dive for a ball. I never bought that.
No?
No.
I think he didn't hustle.
Yeah, you got to. So that means the ball never fell beyond his reach. It would have made sense to dive for.
7 strikeouts. So he didn't hustle and he didn't steal bases.
Yeah.
Why is this guy in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
He played in New York. You know how that is.
Okay.
Wasn't Marilyn Monroe seeing him after all?
Unieski Betancourt homered in the 4th. It was a blast up around the ConocoPhillips pump. He's 1 for 2. That gets him a first pitch curve, and it's in for strike 1. Seattle just got 2 in the top of the 7th, leads Boston at Fenway 5-4 in the 7th inning. Mike Cameron has hit a couple of home runs in that game, his first 2 of the season. Daisuke Matsuzaka checked out after 4. Jason Vargas is going for the Mariners. Boston now 11-13.
Slowly creeping their way back to respectability.
Yes.
After that ugly start.
High pitch has popped up. Quintero. We'll watch it sail back into the seats. Whoa! That was a good carom catch by the guy in the front row.
Juke in the front row.
It was Juke. He almost caught that one in a really bad spot, but he had his glove out. He was ready to react. Boink.
The first guy just swatted it down like Yao Ming. He just rejected it. He didn't want to catch it. He's just batting it away.
It's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I don't think I've ever seen a foul ball rejected like that. Most people are trying to catch him. This guy's, get out of here.
Seen a few clanked. Now 3 balls, 2 strikes. Lucroy's on deck. Baltimore and the White Sox are tied 3-3 in the 5th. Luke Scott hit his 4th homer. Apparently Josh Beckett took some exception to Luke flipping his bat after a home run a few days ago.
Luke can stir it up a little bit.
Yeah. That's ball 4 to Betancourt. He takes his 4th walk of the year. And number 3 of the night.
He doesn't walk very often. So you can understand why Myers tried to get him to chase that breaking ball, even though it's a 3-ball, 2-strike count. Sometimes you take a shot outside of the zone and you just count on the hitter to chase. And when you look at Betancourt's profile, you can understand why Myers would throw that breaking ball out there. But Betancourt, after hitting the home run last time, maybe figured that's what Myers would try to do, get him to chase, and he showed some nice discipline.
Now Lucroy looks at strike 1. He's been hit by a pitch and he struck out. Pitcher Sean Markham is on deck in this 4-0 game. The Brewers have 5 hits. They have 3 homers and a double. That chop goes foul. No balls, 2 strikes. Pittsburgh 1, Colorado 0 after 4 at Coors Field. Andrew McCutchen hit his 4th for the Pirates, and Clint Hurdle back at his old stomping grounds with the lead. Minnesota 1, Kansas City 1 after 5. Wallace holding Betancourt. It's a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Myers at 105 pitches for the night. Popped up foul ball makes it still a 1-ball, 2-strike count.
Well, Myers, because of his mentality and the fact that he's proven it time and time again that he can work out of jams and hang in games, he's earned that respect of Brad Arnsberg and Brad Mills. And with the bullpen being cuffed around as it has been lately, I think the thinking in the dugout is likely, hey, we're going to, as long as Myers tells us he feels okay, even if he's getting hit around a little bit, we're going to keep him out there. And ultimately, they may have to hit for him if the situation presents itself.
Well,
I think right now you like Myers out there than most of the other guys that have been working in middle relief lately.
Right. There were questions in the usual pregame media session for Brad Mills about his bullpen. He said, well, we have one guy I know is unavailable and a couple more we need to check on for this game tonight. But he didn't mention any names. Snap throw to first. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Brett Wallace had a little pregame work over at first base. Infield coach Bobby Meacham was out around shortstop and throwing 1-hop throws over to Brett so he could practice digging them out on the backhand side on 1 bounce. Runner going, and it's foul back. Now, your point is a good one, though, about the starting pitcher staying in this game. And Myers, with that run of 32 consecutive starts last year of 6 innings or more, was among the best in recent years at doing that, no matter what the score was.
Yeah, and that's kind of an old school approach. Back in the day, the club had their ace on the mound, or their number 2 guy even. You just leave him out there. Even if he was having a bad day, he still figured he was a better option than the guys in the bullpen.
Runner was going on that 3-2 pitch.
Wilton Lopez scheduled to throw a simulated game tomorrow. And if all goes well with that, he'll be able to come off the disabled list relatively soon.
Maybe Monday. Myers now has gone 6 innings or more in 37 of his 38 starts in his Astros career. Runner going, and another foul ball. This continues to be the trend.
Betancourt's gassed. Oh my goodness, the Phillies leading the Mets 10-zip now. Ryan Howard with a couple of home runs.
Now Mark Melanson's starting to work.
So this Worley.
Todd Worley, yeah, he was up a little bit last year.
2-hit shutout going.
Pretty good this spring. Runner going, strike 3. The throw to Bill Hall. A tag, double play to end the 6th inning. Caught stealing from 2 to 4. No runs, no hits, nobody left. Middle of the 6th as Myers does it again. 38 of the last 39. He's gone 6 or more. 4-0.
Follow the Astros with the MLB.com @BAT11 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, or BlackBerry. Get live audio, pitch-by-pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text @BAT to 31826 or visit Astros.com for details. By the way, one quick update on that Texas-Oklahoma baseball game. They played it in 2 hours and 1 minute. They won. Texas won 5-0. Taylor Youngman, a complete game shutout. He is a 10-0. His earned run average drops under 1. We may see him in the big leagues in a couple years.
Hunter Pence, fly ball, right center field. On the first pitch, Gomez comes in, makes it a 1-pitch out. Number 1 in the 6th inning for Sean Markham. Correction on that Phillies pitcher. His name is Vance Worley. Carlos Lee, 0 for 2 up next.
Is that kid a hard thrower, Greg?
Yeah, he's got all the pitches. He's got really good command. He had 9 strikeouts and just 1 walk. As they say, he came in with a 1 earned run average, and he throws another complete game shutout.
Man.
Against, by the way, this Oklahoma team can hit, usually.
What time is the brunch, baseball and brunch tomorrow?
We start at 11:30 tomorrow.
Well, then Taylor Youngman will bring the bagels after tonight.
Yes, because we won't see him.
No balls, 2 strikes.
I do think we will see him up here, really. I think he's on a pretty fast track from what I hear.
Could be the next Mike Leake.
Well, I
without the
hope
rap
he's-
sheet.
Yeah.
1-2 the count.
That's the thing about Mike Leake. You can mess up like that, and it just stays with you.
Yes, it does.
Oh, my.
That was quite a job of pulling the string. 3 strikeouts for Markham.
Carlos continues to press. When hitters press, they tend to go out of their comfort zone, start to chase some bad balls. Only 2 hits yesterday, and had some better at bats of late. 1 or 2 games does not necessarily mean the guys got things turned around.
Strike to Brett Wallace. Wallace's average is now .381. After that single in the second, he reached on catcher's interference in the fourth. Markham misses. It's a 1-1 count. Washington blanked the Giants 3-0. Jason Marquis going to 3-0 with that win. Tim Lincecum the loser, now 2-3. Lance Nix hit his 3rd homer. Both the Giants and the Nationals are 12-13. 1-2. San Diego is at Los Angeles tonight to play the McCourts, and that'll be Richard versus Lilly in that matchup.
The McCourts that are taking over the name of the team now.
2 balls, 2 strikes. That's going to be a most interesting situation. According to some financial reports, the McCourts are $600 million in debt with that franchise, and they took $100 million out for their own personal use on homes and things of that nature. And they had negotiated a deal with Fox, a multi-year deal, but the commissioner is putting a hold on that. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And there's a threat of a lawsuit. Tom Schieffer has taken over as the monitor of that club. Fly ball left field. Braun going back. That's off the wall. He barehands, plays it well, gets it into second, holds him to a long single. That's a really good play by Ryan Braun. Wallace hits another bullet. He's 2 for 2 in this game.
Looks like his plan the last 2 at bats was to go that way. I think he was thinking about if he hit it on the ground, he'd be able to squirt it down the third base line. But now when he gets airborne, and he's just so strong, watch the way his hands come through the zone. Gives that ball a little extra carry. Braun tight to the wall, but able to handle the carry. And a good decision here by Wallace. You know, most guys are, you hit one off the wall, you feel like you're compelled to go for 2, but it would be silly to run into an out.
Sure would. In a way, he was unlucky because he hit the padded part of the wall. He might have gotten a carom away from Braun if he had hit the iron part of the wall. Bill Hall is 0 for 2, 2 fly balls to center for Bill. Strike.
Yeah, I guess that's the only thing Brett has to work on now is his aim. Everything else is pretty much got down.
He opened the bottle.
Next time you hit a double or hit the ball off the wall, hit it off the scoreboard part. And do one of those funky bounces.
Looping curveball comes in for strike 2, and it's 0-2 to Bill Hall, who walks away from home plate after that one. It's hard to see on that wall, but there are little ledges on that wall. And in the early years of this ballpark, Damian Jackson of the Padres hit one that came down on one of those ledges and popped up and went in the seats for a home run.
It's the luckiest home run ever.
Yeah, it really was. Swing and a miss, and Hall flings the bat away after seeing that slow breaking stuff. Strikeout number 4 from Markham ends the Astros 6th. With no runs a hit and the runner stranded, it's 4-0 Milwaukee. is brought to you by Steel. Visit SteelDealers.com. By Jack in the Box. Get anything on the menu any time of day. And by Southwest Airlines. New Rapid Rewards. Gorgeous night in downtown Houston. But the game is going to Milwaukee so far as the Brewers lead at 4-0 after 6. The Astros go to their bullpen for the first time. Mark Melanson is 2-1. His ERA is 1.42.
And bullpen had a rough go of it in that series with the St. Louis Cardinals, and overall the bullpen has had a fairly rough year so far, but Melanson's numbers are very, very good with that 1.42 ERA. He's been quite dependable. 2 strikeouts for every walk, no home runs allowed. Generally numbers like that add up to success.
He starts his outing with pitcher Sean Markham ready to face him. Markham has struck out both times. Myers threw 113 pitches. Brett in 6 innings, allowing 5 hits, 4 runs, walking 3, fanned 8. Upstairs ball 1 for Melanson, who's tied for the league lead in appearances. 14 appearances, 12 2/3 innings for Mark. Out to second base, Bill Hall. There's 1 out. And the Brewers have 5 hits, 4 for extra bases, 3 homers and a double. The Astros have been held to 3 singles by Markham through 6.
That's the problem when you don't hit home runs, when you don't have a lot of power in your lineup. Tough to come from behind.
Ricky Weeks got an infield hit in the 3rd. He is 1 for 3. Texas and Oakland are warming up for their game in Oakland. Ball 1 from Melanson. Arizona got 2 in the 1st, leads the Cubs 2-0 after 1. Justin Upton hit his 5th home run.
Backs put it on the Cubs last night.
Oh yeah, Ronnie Dempster didn't make it through the 1st inning.
Gave up a grand slam to Stephen Drew. In the 1st, gave up 7 runs in a 1/3 of an inning. Something like that.
That sounds right. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cubbies are 10-14 right now. They've lost 4 in a row. Did he go? That's the question for Darryl Cousins. Apparently never got passed along to him. It's 2 balls and a strike. Sharp breaking ball there. Not tempting enough for Weeks. Cousins makes that ball, and it's 3-1. Melanson has 4 straight scoreless appearances. He got a win in New York. Pitched twice last weekend in Milwaukee. And both those went well, even though one was kind of crazy in that Friday night game when he and Brett Wallace ran into each other. And Weeks takes the walk. 4th base on balls for the Astros now to go with a hit batsman as well. It's Gomez. Gomez 0 for 2 with a walk. Brad Arnsberg's pitchers came into this game with a 5.24 earned run average. That was the highest ERA in the National League. The relievers have an ERA of 5.09. And the batting average against the bullpen is .319. There's ball 1. The average National League batting average against relievers is .241.
Yeah, so obviously room for improvement in the bullpen core, but part of that improvement would come from better performance from the starting pitchers too. If the starting pitchers go deeper, you minimize the number of innings that your bullpen has to give you, so you keep more arms fresh, and you don't expose those long, those guys that typically pitch a 5th and 6th innings generally are not as effective as the guys who pitch 7th and 8th and 9th inning. So when your starters are giving you short outings, you're asking more out of the bullpen, and that ERA is likely going to go up.
Florida has the lowest bullpen ERA in the league, 1.93. San Diego's second. This is interesting. The Padres relievers have pitched the most innings of any National League club, 89 innings in 25 games.
Because they don't score. They're always having to come from behind, so they got to pinch hit and see what they can do.
Barmas comes after it. There's the toss to Bill Hall. He hangs in and fires to Wallace, safe at first. Gomez, who runs really well, was able to beat that relay throw from Hall, and the ball was not hit all that sharply.
No, I don't know if there's such a thing as a routine double play ball with a guy like Gomez speed, much like Michael Bourne. He can really fly down the line. Barmas tries to close the gap on it, charging it, unloading in a hurry, but tough man to double.
Yeah, it would be hard to do it much quicker than that, but it took that one big high bounce. That gave Gomez a chance to beat the rap, and with 2 outs, he's aboard for Braun. Braun has a homer in 3 trips. Throw goes over. The Astros relievers coming into this game had worked 74 to third innings, giving up 99 hits and walking 30. So that's 129 base runners with walks and hits combined in 74 and a third innings. Strike, and Braun looks at an 0-1 count next.
Today is the birthday anniversary of the great Noodles Hahn. One of the all-time great nicknames in baseball.
Yeah. Pitch for Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm. Turn of the century. Won 100 games by the age of 24.
Pitch out. Runner going, but the ball's dropped by Quintero. It was a good call to go with a pitch out, but the execution was not there, and Gomez winds up with a steal, his second of the night and 8th of the year.
Just couldn't get the handle as he tried to make that transfer from glove to throwing hand.
One and one on Braun. Yeah, that's why it's so tough to measure the value of a manager. A manager can make the right call, as he did on that pitch out, but ultimately it comes down to execution on the part of the players.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, ideally you'd like that pitch out to be chest high as opposed to head high, but, you know, still it's mostly on cue for not being able to get it cleanly out of his glove.
Into left field. Gomez is coming home, and he'll score as the throw comes into the cutoff man. It's 5-0. RBI single by Braun. That gives him 23 runs batted in. Quite a contest between Braun and Fielder. Fielder has 25.
A couple steals by Gomez, and he's come around to score both times.
Coors Light cold hard blast came off the bat of Fielder.
Lean back and lift off. There goes a bucket of popcorn.
You don't see a whole lot of home runs up there. Fielder also has an RBI double and a walk. There's a strike. And that's called as a swing by Ron Kulpa. No balls, 2 strikes to Fielder. Seattle bats in the top of the 9th inning, leading at Boston 5-4. St. Louis just got a run in the ninth at Atlanta to tie it 3-3. Bouncer goes foul. Still 0-2 to Fielder. Craig Kimbrell's in the game now for the Braves. Cincinnati's batting in the last of the ninth, has scored once, trails Florida 7-5. Fielder. And Barmas comes over, backhands, throws across his body, and the tag, the collision at first. Wallace gets him. Wallace. Yeah, he's hurting. And so is Fielder. Two big men in the air colliding. And it's 5-0 Milwaukee.
Make the play, but fully exposed. This fielder's coming down the line hard. He takes that shoulder in the rib cage, lands hard on the hip. Kind of cattywampus when he went down. And very slow to come off the field.
Left hip of Wallace. Got the jarring collision from the left shoulder of Fielder, it appeared. Both stayed down for a while. Now Chris Johnson, 5-0 Brewers. Chases the slow curve for strike one. He's 0 for 2. Quintero and the pitcher's spot coming up next after Johnson. Markham has been really dazzling with the off-speed stuff. No balls, 2 strikes.
Not fun to hit off, I'm sure, but kind of fun to watch.
Yeah.
You know, how a guy goes out there, especially a right-hander. You see a lot of finesse lefties around baseball, but rarely do you see a right-hander with all this salad that he's flipping up there. And I don't mean that disparaging. It's just pretty impressive.
Strikeout number 5. Markham has thrown 89 pitches. Quintero the batter. Twice he's grounded to third base. Brian Bogusevic comes out to the on-deck circle. Those are the fine numbers for Markham tonight. He delivers ball 1. He's walked 2. 25,734 the paid attendance. 90 pitches for this 29-year-old veteran from Kansas City. 1-1 to Quintero. Markham, a third-round draft choice of Toronto in 03. 13-game winner last year. He won 12 in 07. Missed 09 with Tommy John surgery. Fulchino in the Astros bullpen. 2 balls, 1 strike. Quintero lifts it on the right side near the line. Corey Hart. 2 down. Now it'll be Bogusevic. Pinch hitting for Mark Melanson, who in 1 inning allowed 1 hit, 1 run with 1 walk, no strikeouts. And if the Astros execute the pitch out and get Gomez, he does not give up a run. Bogusevic 1 for 3 as a pinch hitter. And essentially he takes over for Joe Inglet, who had been the only left-handed pinch hitter in most games on the bench.
Yeah, I think Joe's cause hurt by the fact that Jason Michael's hurt, and the Astros short an outfielder. Bogusevic probably a little better in the outfield than Inglet.
And he runs well. No balls, 2 strikes.
Although I don't say that with any degree of certainty, because I haven't seen Bogusevic play the outfield a lot, and I haven't seen Inglet play the outfield at all.
Bogusevic takes that one. 1 and 2. We were really waiting to see, wondering what would happen with that player move tonight when Clint Barmas came back. One possibility was Bogusevic going back to Oklahoma City. There were other possibilities. He lunges at it and strikes out. That's 6 strikeouts for Markham. And he has a 1-2-3 7th to maintain his 5-0 shutout bid. Here's a throw from Clint Barmas. Wallace up, and he really catches the left shoulder in the midsection from Fielder. And he was bent over. He walked around trying to walk it off there as he crossed the first baseline. He was bent over for a while. So Brian Bogusevic, after pinch hitting for Melanson, stays in the game in left field. Carlos Lee has moved from left field to first base, with Wallace going out of the game, and the pitcher is Jeff Fulchino.
Jeff working for the 15th time this year and trying to get the taste of last night's outing out of his mouth. Came in last night, allowed 4 hits and a couple of runs, did not retire a batter. But overall, the number's still pretty solid for Fulchino. Now that play at first base, that's the one we were talking about with Baggy last week when he was on with us. That throw that takes you into the base runner at first base. Usually it's lower and you're reaching in with your glove hand. You're fearful of getting your arm broken and jamming your wrist.
Fly ball off the bat of Casey McGee goes to right. Hunter Pence 1 out. By the way, we look forward to Jeff Bagwell rejoining us as always, on Saturday night home games tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll get his honest opinion on that play, whether he would have went and got that ball or not.
Okay.
Because last week he told us, he goes, I'm not sticking my hand in there. He probably would have gone up the way Brett did, taking the hit. But you can understand why a first baseman wouldn't reach in to try to make a play. And what was it, with Cliff Floyd, was it, that
yes,
broke his arm? Yeah.
Yeah, that was a long-term injury for him.
And he's not the only one. We've seen over the years a number of first basemen get hurt on plays like that, but it's usually the arm or the wrist.
Corey Hart has struck out 3 times. Chino gets a swing and a miss and creates a 1-1 count.
Corey Hart just looking for contact. 3 punch-outs tonight. There's Stetter and Kinsler heating it up in the Brewer bullpen.
Ball 2. Astros bullpen was really ravaged last night as the Cardinals came up with 7 runs in 4 innings against the Houston Relief Corps. This one goes to center field indeed. Michael Bourne turning up on Towns Hill, and he falls and holds on.
You gotta love it. Talk about the concentration. All of a sudden, boom, you're going up the ladder. And he hangs in there and makes the play. Turns one way, then back the other. That's fun stuff.
Big ovation from the fans for the 2-time Gold Glover in center. Tremendous play to rob Corey Hart, who finally made contact, and then he was absolutely robbed.
Corey may have been around the conversation down by the batting cage earlier today when Brian Anderson next door doing Brewer TV was recounting the story of Richie Sexton's bomb off the flagpole and stayed in play for a triple.
Betancourt takes 2-0. Betancourt with a homer and a walk. We can still see that mark up on that flagpole where Sexton hit the ball. Michael fell and landed pretty close to that base, which is padded. Sexton hit it way up on that flagpole and was certainly robbed of a home run. And that's one of the few balls that has ever hit there in this ballpark in 11 years. Extremely rare.
So I mean, 450 and you don't get to circle the bases. Hang with them. Pull the ball. Got to be a little smarter.
Strike, and it's 3-1 on Betancourt. The Orioles lead the White Sox 5-4. They played 6 in Chicago. That's a 2-out walk, putting Betancourt on for Lucroy.
Back-to-back walks for Betancourt. I wonder how many times he's done that in his career.
Wouldn't think it would be that many, looking at the total number of walks he's had in his career, that's for sure. Garth Orge, the coach, at first base.
Just 3 total this year coming into play tonight.
Lucroy was hit by a pitch. He has struck out twice.
You hit a ball 430 feet, and all of a sudden pitchers are a little fearful.
Yeah. Fernando Abad working for the Astros.
Today's also Ron Washington's birthday, manager of the Texas Rangers. Happy birthday, Wash.
Let's see what Wash is doing on the scoreboard. Well, he's just underway in Oakland. No score, top of the first. C.J. Wilson pitching for him. That will give Wash a pretty good chance for a birthday win.
59 years old today. You know how Noodles Hahn got his nickname? Talking about Noodles earlier?
No.
His father worked in a piano factory, and it was his job to bring his dad lunch every day, and it was almost always chicken noodle soup. So he became Noodles Hahn.
That works. Very healthy lunch.
And now you know the rest of the story. That's a he actually claims to have no idea. He said they just always called me Noodles, but people did some digging around, and some people from his old neighborhood, his hometown, said that's why. And there's other versions of the story, but they all center around soup.
Well, the guy who certainly should have rebelled and should never have accepted the nickname they gave him was Hugh losing pitcher Mulcahy. How could you allow that to happen? 2 balls, 2 strikes.
A great sense of humor, self-deprecating.
Bob Ferguson, on the other hand, probably really enjoyed that nickname they gave him. Death to all flying things.
Yeah.
He caught everything in the air.
And I think Hugh losing pitcher Mulcahy went on to war service and was a hero of sorts in World War II.
Okay. Didn't know that. Inside for ball 3 to Lucroy, and it's a full count. 2 outs. The runner will take off on this next one.
Hugh Mulcahy had a record of 45 and 89 in his major league career. They did do a fair amount of losing. He might have been on some bad clubs, though.
Yeah. Runner going. Bill Hall to his left. On over to Carlos Lee to end the top of the 8th inning with no runs, no hits, and a fine catch by Michael Bourne. 5-0, no one. The 8th coming. This call to the bullpen is presented by Verizon Wireless. There's Bob from Georgetown with his Astros gear on, watching the lefty Mitch Stetter come in after Sean Markham went 7 innings and was brilliant, allowing 3 singles, no runs, walking 2, and fanning 6.
Markham proving to be a nice pickup for the Brewers. Mitch Stetter, a left-handed specialist, typically just comes in for a couple of outs in 10 games so far this year, but he's only worked 5 innings. And here's why. That's got lefty specialist written all over. Right-handed hitters get a good look at him, but lefty's tough to hang in there.
Michael Bourne taking strike 1 there with Barmas and Pence to follow. Bourne fouls it back. The Astros have not been shut out this season. They've scored 1 run 3 times, including last Sunday when Randy Wolf was the Milwaukee pitcher. Brewers have put together 4 shutout performances from their pitching staff. It's a 1-ball 2-strike count as the Astros try to get something worked up against Ron Renicke's Brew Crew, which is trying to go a game above 500. Stetter last pitched on Wednesday, 1/3 of an inning against Cincinnati.
If if you're a Brewer fan and you're wondering, can we win the World Series with a rookie manager? The answer is yes. It's been done 4 times. Most recently, I guess, would be Bob Brenly with the Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's been one since.
Can't think of one. Strike 3 call. 1 out. Strikeout number 7 for Brewer pitchers.
Stetter with that drop down delivery, able to bring that one over the inside corner to finish off Michael. Tough pitch. Ron Renicky going to make the move.
He got his man. Now right-handed hitters coming up, and it's going to be a counter move by Renicky with a 5-0 lead. Fielder back-to-back. Betancourt went deep in the 4th, and the Brewers have survived with only 6 hits, 4 of those for extra bases. Now it's the bullpen moving along with Brandon Kintzler after Mitch Stetter got Michael Bourne. Kintzler is 1-1. His ERA is 4.22.
Kintzler made the opening day roster for the Brewers for the first time in his career, but then was sent out on April 5th, only to be recalled on the 11th when Saito got hurt. Just had a handful of major league appearances so far this year.
Native of Las Vegas, 26 years old, 40th round draft choice by San Diego in 04. Clint Barmas bounces one big hop to McGee, and the tag by Fielder. Yep. 2 outs.
A hit pointer for Brett Wallace is what they're saying.
Okay. So he's day to day?
Day to day. Aren't we all?
Hunter Pence is 0 for 2 with a walk. Well, lefty going tomorrow, Randy Wolf. Of course, Wallace hits lefties very well. Lashed into left field. Hunter Pence has a 4-game hitting streak. He attacked that one. Hit number 4 for the Astros, but they've been scattered and they've all been singles. Carlos Lee is 0 for 3 in this game.
Well, the Brewers, like the Cardinals, have had, and like the Astros for that matter, have had late inning issues as well with their bullpen. Got to put a little pressure on them. Yeah, it's a nice, comfortable 5-0 lead with 2 outs in the 8th. Astros running out of outs.
Matt Downs is on deck. Pitcher spot due up next with Carlos Lee batting. Kintzler sinks it, and it's ball 1 to lead. First opening day roster for Brandon Kintzler. He went to Pasadena City College. He was in 7 games with the Brewers last year. Pitched at Huntsville and Nashville as well. Kintzler fields the comebacker. Tosses to fielder, and that ends the 8th with no runs a hit and a man left. Moving to the 9th, it's 5-0 Milwaukee. It is 5-0 Milwaukee. 25,731 watching here at Minute Maid Park tonight. And Brandon Kinsler came in to get 2 outs there in the 8th inning. Sandwiched around a Hunter Pence single. He's going to stay in to lead off the 9th. Brewers have only 4 bench players. Brandon Lyon takes over on the mound for Houston with that 2-1 record. .82 ERA for Brandon with 9 1/3 innings of work.
Well, that's where I'm supposed to come in, isn't it?
You don't have to. You can play out every now and then. I know you're pondering the wedding and everything that went on today.
I was just flipping back through my scorebook to see Brandon's last appearance.
It's been a few days, hasn't it? Strike 1 to Kinsler.
I worked an inning in the opener of the Cardinals series. We have not seen him since.
And he needs to stay sharp. So he comes in this 5-0 game, dealing a ball there. It's 1-1. Yeah, it's been a hectic time, JD, with all this stuff to process. First major league at bat here for Kinsler. Royal wedding, NFL draft.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah. 2 balls and a strike. Jeff Fulcino in 1 inning allowed no hits, no runs. He had 1 walk and no strikeouts.
You can make all kinds of bets too over in England on the royal wedding, and when they'll have a baby, will it be a boy or a girl?
Oh, really? All that
all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Open for bookmaking. Okay. What did you think of the wedding dress?
Didn't see it, Brownie. I swear to God, I have not seen a bit of this.
Gorgeous dress. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Was she wearing Vera Wang?
I couldn't tell you. Struck him out. Way out of my league on that one, pal. Ricky Weeks has been on twice with an infield hit and a walk. Well, the airlines must have loved the coverage from America on that royal wedding. All the people who flew over to do reports.
And all the fans, all the people. There's a kind of a cult almost of these royal watchers.
Mm-hmm. Ricky Weeks takes strike 1. Now, how about when you were in the minors? Were there ever weddings at home plate of any games?
I don't remember any. I remember hearing tales of guys getting married at ballparks, but I never witnessed it.
Chris Johnson.
Chris Sampson got married here, right?
Oh, that's right. He sure did. 2 outs. Carlos Gomez is 0 for 3. Has 2 stolen bases, 2 runs scored, and a walk for the number 2 hitter. St. Louis and Atlanta have played 10. They're tied 3-3. Nate McLough hit number 1 for the Braves in that game. So the Cardinal bullpen comes in for even more work tonight. Had some rough times in this series here. One ball, 1 strike. Yeah, you mentioned the Astros, by the time they get to Pittsburgh on the next road trip, will have made the tour of the NL Central. So we'll wait until that point to ask you your opinion of the division. 1 and 2.
Well, okay.
Nap time. Now that lady would never get up and try to catch a foul ball with that baby on her lap. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
No, because she's a mom, or mothers and grandmothers, they have that protective instinct.
Yeah. Broken bat roller. Barma's charging. Goes on the run. Good play to Carlos Lee. 1-2-3 ninth for Brandon Lyon. Now the Astros come up in the bottom of the 9th. Pitcher's spot. All in Johnson. Bottom of the 9th is coming. We'll get a pinch hitter. Jason Bourgeois, former Brewer, will lead it off. Pinch hitting for Brandon Lyon. Lyon in 1 inning allowed no hits, no runs, with no walks. He struck out 1. And the Astros have been held to 4 scattered singles in this game by Sean Markham, Mitch Stetter, and now Brandon Kintzler.
Astros hitting a little better than 200 in the pinch. Jason Bourgeois, 2 out of 5 as a pinch hitter here in the early going.
308 overall with 2 runs driven in. He's had 26 at bats this season. Rally caps are out. Bill Hall on deck. That's into right field. Corey Hart waiting. 1 pitch, 1 out there for Kintzler. Bill Hall is 0 for 3, 2 fly balls to center and a strikeout. Brewers 2 outs away from opening their 10-game road trip successfully. Randy Wolf tomorrow night against Wandy Rodriguez with a 6.05 start. Wolf has a 2.64 ERA. Really had the Astros at bay last weekend as he pitched against them so effectively. There's ball 1. And Bud Norris and Chris Narveson go at 105 on Sunday. The Astros hit the road Monday night. They're at Cincinnati. Jay Happ and Mike Leake will pitch. Tuesday night, Nelson Figueroa versus Sam LeCure. Chop to third. McGee coming in. Throws out Hall. Now the Astros down to their final out, and Chris Johnson will be the batter. He's 0 for 3. Wednesday is a day game at Cincinnati with Brett Myers and Travis Wood going against each other.
The story of tonight's game, Sean Markham. Astros could not get anything at all going against him.
Strike to CJ. Quintero on deck.
A couple of 2-out solo home runs by the Brewers in the first inning, and that's all they've needed. Heck, they only needed one.
One ball, one strike. Now they got Braun and Fielder going deep. 2 outs in the first. Betancourt chimed in with a homer in the fourth. RBI double in the third by Fielder. And Markham took that right to the bank. Number goes foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Kinsler had shoulder surgery. Milwaukee purchased him from St. Paul of the American Association, an independent team, in July of 2009. He gets a swing and a miss, and that ends the shutout win. 5-0 for the Brewers. First time the Astros have been blank this season. The Brewers get their 5th shutout victory. Ryan Braun provides the first run with his 10th homer. Prince Fielder follows with number 5, and Yuniesky Betancourt later hits his first. Final score: Milwaukee 5, Houston 0.
Giving something away, jerseys or something.
I hope. Final score here: Milwaukee 5, Houston 0, with Sean Markham getting the win to go to 3-1. Brett Myers, his first loss. 1-1 is his record. One of those nights, JD, for the Astros offensively. They had been so good at hitting against the Cardinals in that 3-game series, but tonight managed only 4 scattered singles.
Yeah, I hate to wear out an old cliche, but applicable. The good pitching stops good hitting. The Astros scored 18 runs in that 3-game set with the Cardinals, but Sean Markham came in here and just handcuffed him with that array of off-speed stuff. Pretty impressive show.
So the Brewers claim the opener of this series, and we'll see Game 2 tomorrow night. Final score, Milwaukee 5, Houston nothing. Stay tuned for Astros Live postgame. You've been watching Houston Astros baseball on Fox Sports Houston. Now here's your final take.